So now we'll study the examples. What organisms are included in this plant-life protist? The plant-life protist include what are called as the diatoms. What are these called? Diatoms. As I have already mentioned over here, diatoms are the organisms in plant-life protist. Now these diatoms have, in fact, these are unicellular and their body walls are made up of silica in the form of a soap case, and these will have different shapes. Like some of the diatoms are going to be elliptical in this form. So this will be the two parts in their body wall. Okay, and then the entire body will be covered by silica deposition. So there will be deposition of silica. Silicon oxide, SiO2. In this manner. Okay, so this diatom is spherical in shape, but it is not the only shape that it is going to carry. Some of the diatoms will have shapes which are in this form. Okay, some of the diatoms are actually going to be rectangular in this form. Okay, with very fantastic silica deposition over their bodies. So these are going to be the different shapes that we will find in this diatoms. Okay, each of this diatomic cell will have the body wall, the cell wall made up of silica in the form of two parts, and these two parts will be just resembling like a soap case. So these are the diatoms. The remains of this body walls, the cell walls, will form what is called as the diatomaceous earth. Being very hard, it is used in polishing and filtration. Are you getting it, students? Okay. So from plant-life protist, we will pass on to the next type of protist, and these protists are animal-life protists. What are these? Animal-life protists. So once we say animal-like protists, obviously, like cell walls are present in this diatom, cell walls are going to be absent in it, because main characteristic of animal cell is absence of cell walls. So cell wall will be absent. These are photosynthetic in nature. Animal-like protists are going to be holozoic in nature. These are going to be heterotrophic. Okay, so they cannot prepare their own food, so they have to depend upon the food as in the form of other organisms. So these are going to be heterotrophic. So we will go for the animal-like protist. Scientists are termed protozoans. What are these termed? Protozoans. Proto means primitive, zoa means animal, so these are very primitive forms of animals. Being animal-like, obviously, these lack cell wall. Lack means absent, so cell wall will be absent in them. Okay, important characteristic, one line. These will be, in fact, if you study these protozoans, some of the protozoic forms we already know. These are animals like amoeba. So they are having irregular body shape like the amoeba. They may be sleeper shaped like the paramecium. Okay, or they may be slender tape like in trypanosoma. So these organisms have different body shapes. In fact, when I say body, body is a single cell. So you can call it as cell shape. So these will be varying. May be irregular, sleeper shaped. Okay, then they have locomotory organs, and these I shouldn't call it as locomotory organs, but because being single cell you cannot have an organ system in it. So locomotion is brought about by, so I will call locomotory devices are either pseudopodia or flagella or cilia. Okay, then heterotrophic mode of nutrition. That means they derive food from other organisms. So mode of nutrition is heterotrophic. What are the examples of these? Examples are amoeba. You know what is an amoeba? Okay, this amoeba is, how is it? Free living, aquatic, so it lives in water. Okay, it is free living aquatic form, amoeba. Now there is another amoeba which is called as ant amoeba, and this ant amoeba is parasitic form. It is an endoparasite. Endoparasite, living in the intestine or gut of other animals, like the man, okay, and causes disease. It causes a disease called amoebiasis. Okay, that is entamoeba. Entamoeba histolytica. Then there is another protozoan which is called as trypanosoma. Just excuse me. Yes, another which is called as trypanosoma. Now this trypanosoma is a protozoan. Okay, in fact, if we see both this amoeba and entamoeba will have their locomotory organ as pseudopodia. What are their locomotory organ in this? In both of this, the locomotory organ is pseudopodia. false feet. Okay. Now this trypanosoma has a long flagella. So if we see this trypanosoma, it is something like this, and it is with a long flagella. So this is the flagella. Okay, a long whip-like structure, and with this whip-like structure it keeps on moving. But it is a pathogen. Pathogen means disease-causing organism, and this pathogen causes sleeping sickness. What does it cause? Sleeping sickness. So if a person, if a human being has too many of this trypanosoma in the blood, or will get infected by this trypanosoma, the person goes in coma, sleeps. So it is called as the sleeping sickness. Okay. Then we have paramecium. All of you know what is paramecium. This paramecium is sleeper shaped. Okay. In trypanosoma, locomotory organ is, what is this locomotion? Locomotory device. Locomotory device is flagella. This is the flagella. Okay. In paramecium, locomotion is by cilia. Very minute hair-like structures are present all over the body, and this is called as, these structures are called as cilia. Singular cilium, plural cilia. And the paramecium, with the wave-like motions generated in the cilia, this paramecium will be moving. Okay? So paramecium, trypanosoma, entamoeba, amoeba, all these are examples of animal-like protist. What type of protist? Animal-like protist. Okay. Now here, well-labeled diagram of paramecium is given in your textbook. Very important. You will be asked as a question to label the diagram. So you should practice drawing well-labeled diagram. Okay. So this is about the animal-like protist. Animal-like protist students, let us pass on to dinoflagellates. The third type of protists, these are the dinoflagellates. Okay, dinoflagellates. Now these are aquatic and photosynthetic. In aquatic habitat, where do they live? Do we find them in fresh water? No. We find them in oceanic water, salt water. So these are mostly marine. What are these? Mostly marine forms. So you will find them in sea, in ocean, in seas. Okay, so these are mostly marine. These are photosynthetic. They prepare their own food by the process of photosynthesis. So these are photosynthetic in nature. How are these? Photosynthetic. Now their cell wall is made up of cellulosic stiff plates. Cellulose is a complex carbohydrate. So like the plants, their cell wall is made up of cellulose. It is in the form of cellulosic stiff plates. This cellulose is so deposited that it forms stiff, very hard plates. So cell wall is in the form of cellulosic stiff plates. Okay. They have flagella. So it's not a single flagella, but they will have two flagella, and with this pair of flagella, these are going to move. The flagella comes out from the, in fact, crevices of the stiff cell wall plates, and with the help of this flagella, these are going to move. So they have cell wall, and this cell wall will have in fact crevices, gaps through which the flagella will be protruding out. They carry out their nutrition by photosynthesis, so they should have photosynthetic pigments, and variety of photosynthetic pigments are present in them. So, wide range of photosynthetic pigments. See, when you see the plants are photosynthetic. Generally, of what color do you see the plants? Green color. So they will have, in general, the major photosynthetic pigment as either chlorophyll A, or in association it will have chlorophyll B, which is green in color. But these have photosynthetic pigments which are brown in color, yellow in color, blue in color, and red in color, along with green color. So they have wide range of photosynthetic pigments. And what is the color range? Light, green, yellow, brown, red, and blue. Okay? Now, in fact, if you have heard, like there are some places on our earth, there is a beach in Australia, okay, where the water suddenly becomes red in color. Okay, this is called as the red tide. In fact, some of them believe it to be a bad omen. But what is actually a red tide? A red tide is if the waters have too many of dinoflagellates with the red photosynthetic pigment. How is the water going to appear here? Red in color, isn't it, students? So that forms what is called as the red tide. So these dinoflagellates are responsible for red tide. Remember this. Okay? So next time when you hear of such a phenomenon of red tide, or you see the red tide, it is nothing like a bad omen. It is what? The oceanic water, the sea water is having large amounts of dinoflagellates with red color photosynthetic pigment in them. That is the reason the sea appears red in color. Okay? So these are the dinoflagellates, the third type of kingdom Protista. Okay, now we'll go to the next type in which the organisms appear to be like fungi. So these are called as fungi-like protists. Okay, now these fungi-like protists are commonly from the group which is called as Myxomycetes. What are they commonly called? Myxomycetes. Okay? In the next lecture, we are going to study this fungi-like protists and then the euglenoids. Okay? So till then you keep revising this part, important from the point of view of examination. Okay? Keep revising, make notes, draw a level diagram. As I said, your biology will be perfect only when we are going to pen down everything in short forms and try to remember it. Okay, students? Goodbye till then.